So here we have the cactus. We've got the dome. Bring the dome in and make a reading just like that. That's what I do. This aiming right at the camera. Camera's right where you are. Then I take a shot. And I'm shooting at f/16, 1/100th of a second. But understanding our reciprocals, that means we can go right through the line. If it's f/16 at 100, it's f/11 at 200. It's f/8 at 400. It's f/5.6 at 800. It's f/4 at 1600, and it's f/2.8 at 3200. Just right through it. So, because it's the same exposure, when we open up the aperture one, we shut down the shutter, make it twice as fast, twice as much light, twice as fast shutter, okay? So let's find out. Let's just zip it over here real quick to 2.8. And 1/3200. Take the same shot I just took a second ago. And wow, it is absolutely the same exposure. The only difference is the depth of field is gone. I can't even see the cactus behind it. So understanding your reciprocals mean all you need is one exposure. That first exposure, then you can get all of your other f-stops while you're working with that exposure. So that's how I use the dome to the camera outside. Always being aware that the same light falling on this dome is falling on it if I bring it all the way over here. I have seen photographers standing where you are, where the camera is there, standing there, then they'll leave the camera and they'll walk all the way up here and get a reading with this next to the cactus. Trust me, the light falling on this cactus is the same that's falling on that camera. It's the same light falling on that house 14 blocks away. So all I do is stand where I'm shooting, I take the meter and I stick it behind my head. Same exposure, 16.0. So I put it up here, 16.0. It's the same exposure, it's the same light. Nothing says amateur like walking from your camera to the subject in natural daylight and taking a reading. Trust me, it's the same where you are as where the subject is. Given, of course, that it's the same. If you're standing on the Golden Gate Bridge and you're encased in fog and you're shooting San Francisco in bright sun, then of course it's not the same. Yes, you do need to do something else, at which point I would use a reflected light meter. So it's very easy to do. It's very easy to create the shots you want with the meter. Very easy to find different things about the subject that you need to know if you're doing this kind of work. So let me show you that. The other thing I use the meter for is to find my fill values, my ratios in the fill. So I know this is 16 at 100th of a second. I also know that it's 2.8 at 1/3200th of a second. That's just the reciprocals. I'm shooting it at, I think I'm shooting at 2.8 at 3200. So I've got this, this fill card here. I'm going to bring the fill card in nice and tight. See if I can take it up a little bit with one hand. That's always kind of hard to do. See if I can take this up just a little bit higher. There we go. So this fill card is now lighting up the inside of this cactus. Okay, so let's find a reading from this side. And notice that I do not let the light from the sun hit the dome. Make sure that it's all in the shade. Take a reading. It's f/8. 16 to 11 to 8. 2 stops difference. Okay, so let me take the shot. And 2 stops gives me some nice fill. Let's take it away and find out what it is without the fill, shall we? Come in here, take a reading. It's f/5.6, 3 stops away. Let's take that shot. Quite different. I use the meter to find my values that way as well. You can use a reflected light meter as well to do that, but remember you're starting to get into placing values then. And I prefer this because the value is already placed for me. It's already giving me middle gray. So, the dome to the camera. Keep the light on the dome. Don't walk over to your subject unless you're in different light than they are. Strobes, of course, are a different matter. We'll get to those. And make a decision whether you want to shoot it toward the sun or towards you. It doesn't really matter. It's your choice. So as long as you stay consistent, you're good. And that's a little bit of a discussion on how I use the ambient meter outside.